What is going on? Welcome to this week's Fit and Healthy Sioux Falls episode. I hope you are ready to have some fun because we are going to be introducing Coach Jenson, who's sitting right here next to me right now. But I tell you what, we go way back, further back than you may even think. And we're going to really break down how we got to know each other and really what brought him into FitBody, doing what he does today. So let's go ahead and dive in to today's episode. All right. Hey, what is going on, friends? I've got Coach Jenson sitting here next to me. Jenson, what's up, man?
What's going on?
Dude, this is kind of fun. So obviously, I guess I didn't even tell you this yet, but this is episode 30. So episode 30 is right now. This is being dropped here. We're kind of the middle of November, I guess. We're shooting this episode. It's going to be dropped December 7th. And so that's episode 30. But dude, Jenson, when did you first, let's just kind of dive in. When was the first time you and I ever met?
That's a hard to say. Was it like a swimming pool party or?
I feel like it had to have been over at, my cousin Joey Workamp went to school at Washington. You were in the same grade as him. And I feel that I met you. You had to be, like, were you 12, 11?
Yeah, I think we figured that out because it's when I started here. I was 21. And then, so it was 10 years from then, yeah. So
yeah, 11, like 11 years
12.
old.
I was in middle school, yeah.
Which is wild. So I met Jenson way back in the day when he was 11. I don't even know how much older I am than you. How old are you right now?
25.
25. I'm 34, so 9 years. But I met Jenson when he was 11. I would have then been 20. And what's
Crazy.
wild is I would have never thought that our paths would connect in this way ever again. But oddly enough, like it was, I mean, you're 11 years old, I'm 20. I don't like what kind of relationship or connection, nothing other than it was great. It was fine. But all of a sudden, I go on my way. You graduate high school. I remember going to the state football game. I think that was like the last time when you were still in high school. I remember connecting with you. And then I go on finally years later and open a gym. And
That would have been the same year. So you would have just opened FitBody.
Because when did you graduate?
16.
You
So the
graduated
state
16.
championship would have been November 2015.
Wow. So here I am opening a gym as you're graduating high school.
Yeah.
Again, at that point, probably had no thought that this is where you'd end up.
No, I was originally going into school to play football and then business, sports management.
Where was that at?
Dakota Wesleyan in Mitchell, South Dakota. So, yeah, and then who would have thought?
That's wild. And so somewhere, though, along the lines, you must have told your mom or I told your mom or something that I was opening this gym because your mom, Julie, ended up becoming a client at the gym. And when we first opened FitBody, it was on South Minnesota next to Subway, which is no longer even going to be there. They're shutting it down.
We moved locations, so they decided to get out.
I tell you what, I really do think, this is a little segue, but I think we kept Subway in business during COVID.
100%.
So COVID hits, and here, you know, myself, Jenson, our team, we're still showing up every single day. We're actually recording online workouts for our clients, and I think we ate Subway every day.
You know, you would have thought that we would have been the most ripped, jacked, leanest people on earth after recording those videos and 30 in the first 4 days of COVID. But we had to just eat so many calories that it didn't even matter.
It was wild. It was wild. Crazy, crazy. But so, again, 2015, I met up with you at that football game. You went off to Mitchell, and your mom becomes a client here at FitBody. And then we lost touch again. So obviously you're 11, and then you're like 18-ish, 17, 18. We connect again. Then we lose connection again. And then all of a sudden, I'm hosting a taco night at Fit Body. We were going to throw like a little member appreciation, little get together, and we had like a taco night. And your mom like invited you to come.
Yeah, I love me some walking tacos.
Oh, dude, I mean, who doesn't? If you're watching this and you love walking tacos, anywhere in the comment section, you better drop a love for some walking tacos, because who doesn't?
I mean, the one thing that would have changed is having some queso.
Yeah, now you're a queso fanatic.
I'm all about queso, so.
Yeah. So, again, lost connection around 18. You were 18 years old, and then how old do you think you were roughly? Like you had to be 20? So another 2 years later?
Yeah, I think it was actually like a Saturday social.
Okay.
So I would have been back in town for that maybe.
Yeah.
But I don't really know. I don't think it was that long after that. I feel like the gym was probably still fresh when you did that.
Yeah.
You were still probably trying to figure out ways to get people connected.
Sure.
And that was probably one of them, because you had a bouncy house in the gym.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Did we have the bouncy house, or was that when we had like the bouncy? It was like the
floor thing.
Yeah, where you could play like Twister.
Yeah,
right?
that's what it was.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Okay.
Yep.
So again, totally, that's back in the day when there was literally no playbook for this stuff. It's like whatever kind of wild ideas CJ could create, which is kind of crazy because those wild ideas actually turned into me becoming the client engagement calendar lead for our entire brand, which is wild.
Yeah.
To think that it started at a walking taco party with a bouncy Twister, wild.
Yeah, if you guys ever need anybody to throw you a party, just ask this guy.
Yeah, a low key on the side, I'm
Party planner.
Party planner. Not really. But with that, so we reconnected. I didn't even know you were going to be coming to that. Your mom showed up, and all of a sudden, hey, there's Jenson again. And so it's just kind of these weird things where throughout life, we kept on kind of like bumping into each other.
You were selling Kirby vacuums at one point when I was at Joey's house.
Was I selling it to Joey at that point? I don't even know.
You must have just been in the hood, stopped by for a swim.
Oh, man, it was quite the journey. So, yes, I'll have to shoot one on that, because I'll tell you, I actually learned a lot from doing door-to-door Kirby sales, and I actually did really well at it. My first month, there was you could win a trip, all expense paid for a trip to Florida if you sold so many, and I was like motivated to do that. I won the trip for me and my ex-wife at the time, but that was wild, so I learned a lot there. But again, we bump into each other, and then finally we had this taco thing. Life goes on another little while, not long, but I believe like your mom was like, hey, would you ever be interested in possibly hiring Jenson? Or how did that even come up? Because your mom was a client.
Yeah, we could even go back to when you moved your weight room into Joey's.
Oh, man, yeah.
And then you were going obviously through a difficult time in life, and you gave me a bunch of clothes.
Oh, I did. Yeah, absolutely.
You had the
Wow.
Nike Shocks, and they were from your wedding, and you were like, yeah, I probably can't get rid of those. But I was like, dude, those are sick. They're Vikings colors.
So I gave them to you?
I don't think you did. No,
No.
you held on to that.
That's wild. Yeah. So yeah, we moved that weight room into my uncle's house. We had a whole weight room because at one point in time, I always had like an idea that I was going to do something with health and fitness. I didn't know what it was, but that was like, I didn't have a place to store this gym or have this gym, but I had the equipment. So our thought was like, what if we put the gym at my uncle's house? We could train people there. And I know like you and Joey and myself, we would work out in that room.
Yeah. Were you working as a personal trainer during that time?
For a very little bit, I actually worked at, it was called Try On for Her. And so what's actually there now is like Evolve Fitness for Women. It's on like 57th.
Oh.
But that's where I was working, and that didn't work out. It was an all-females gym. And I actually got in trouble working there because I didn't clean the bathroom. But there was only a women's bathroom, and like I couldn't, like it was a bad deal. I don't know. It was.
There's always women in there. How are you supposed to go in there?
That was the problem. I don't know.
That's kind of funny because I went to clean the women's bathroom today, and there was somebody in there. So I was like, oh,
housekeeping.
that's honestly what I was gonna do. I was knocking on the door. I was like, housekeeping.
Yeah,
That's
wild.
Fluffy pillow?
Not in the bathroom. But so we end up connecting through that, and then Julie at the one point in time, she's a client here coming to the gym. Your mom. And did she reach out to you and say, "Hey, you should connect with Cedar"? I don't remember that.
So So you guys had a posting for what I thought was internship, and I happened to need one for school. But even before that, I was going to school for sports management.
Yep.
Didn't really like the classes. Sitting in a classroom, reading a textbook, taking a test over it, not ideal. Probably wouldn't even be here if I didn't go down this road, but I think school's stupid. And
didn't enjoy it.
No, I went there to play football, and then when football, my body was starting to fall apart and I wasn't enjoying enough to deal with that, then from the first day I met my strength coach in college, I kind of was like, man, this dude's intense.
Yeah.
And then when I graduated high school, I moved to Mitchell to start football the next day.
Okay.
So we had graduation and then some like overnight thing at the school, like a senior party or something.
Okay.
And then I actually slept. My parents drove my car and a car for them, had all my stuff in it. And I slept on the way there because I started football workouts that night.
Oh, wow.
And I'd just been up all night. And then met him, super intense. Coach Hobbs, shout out to you. You're my dude. Wouldn't be here without you. And I would just like slowly over time started.
Where was he a coach at?
Dakota Wesleyan.
Dakota Wesleyan.
Strength and conditioning.
Is he still there?
Nope.
No. Okay.
He works at the school now,
Okay.
but he stepped away. He's got a van full of kids now. So
Sure.
He's enjoying the summers off versus having to yell at or teenagers, early 20s. So I switch over eventually to sports, exercise, and wellness is what Dakota Wesleyan called it. And it was a Bachelor of Arts.
Okay.
Which, not ideal when it comes to certifications in our field. They want Bachelor of Science.
Oh, sure.
And then a lot had happened. I was actually a head strength coach for a couple of the high schools in the area. So like Mitchell Club Sports, I worked with like their swim team.
Okay.
I went to Ethan High School, Hanson High School, worked with majority of middle school because they were
as a strength coach.
Yep.
Okay.
And they were trying to start the program and like get it going. And so Coach Hobbs got me introduced to that, and I was doing that for a couple months, and then all of a sudden they hired somebody to take my place, even though I wasn't saying I was done.
Weren't you were working here at that time, weren't you? Or no, or like
no,
interning?
that's why I reached out to you.
I got you. Yeah.
And then reach out to you. All I wanted was internship for school, and then I wasn't even supposed to meet with you. I was supposed to meet with Jess. And then you and I met? Yeah, something happened. You called me that morning, and I had already drove back to town to do it.
Yeah.
And you weren't planning on coming in, but then she couldn't. So then we met, and then just got fired up. And I was like,
cool because it was another one of those things. Like again, we met at 11. We knew each other to 18, 20, and this is when
21.
you're 21. It was actually when you were 20, or wasn't it?
It was freshly 21 because I was working for Avera out there in Mitchell. When I turned 21, I went to Denver for a snowboarding trip and a concert for my 21st birthday.
Yep. But so that's how we got connected in this internship that Jenson thought was an internship. I thought I was hiring full-time because I'm like, I just can't do it all anymore. Jess and I, big shout out to Jess if she watches these at all. I mean, she was my first, I would say, full-time team member that truly let me kind of see what was possible when you hire a team. So that was awesome. But her and I were just getting after it, working all the sessions and all this stuff, burnt out as can be. So definitely needed the help. And that, because then you were going to school in Mitchell.
Yep.
But then what happened where you ended up actually even switching schools to here?
I hope some people watch this. So you guys were on board with me staying at Wesleyan.
Yes.
And I was going to drive back and forth, work a few days part-time to finish up my senior year. And right before that, at the end of the last semester of my junior year, my advisor had gotten fired.
Okay.
And then the new one that took over, I had taken classes with her and stuff. She was the AT for the women's basketball team.
Okay.
Awesome teacher, no disrespect, but she basically called me too stupid to graduate by May.
Oh no.
And that they were pissed about how my last advisor had let me do an internship with Coach Hobbs in the weight room before I'd taken some of the classes.
Okay.
And then she basically said, like, you're going to have to study 24/7. You're not going to have a life if you want to graduate next May. And I was like, screw this. So
Yeah.
I was like, it's a Bachelor of Arts, which the NSCI, the
NSCS? NS.
to get your CSCS.
Okay.
Basically that's the top one for strength and conditioning coaches. One of them that they basically look for in jobs. They, within 2 years, were only accepting Bachelor of Science. So I would have been grandfathered in, but still not the greatest look. So I was looking at USF, like coming home.
Yep.
Because originally when I was done playing football,
Yep.
I was going to stop. I was going to transfer to USF and then go back to Washington and help coach.
Sure.
And then my linebacker coach was like, why not do it here? So then I ended up staying on, helping the football team for a year and a half or so, got involved in strength and conditioning. But then when that happened, I was like, man, USF's like $8 to $10 cheaper a year.
Sure.
So went in to my phone, a couple of screenshots of my transcripts, sent it to USF, was like, hey, I already got this job at Fit Body lined up. My career's ready to go. I just need to graduate.
Yeah.
And I had finished because obviously starting in business,
Yep.
I had a business minor at Wesleyan.
Did that transfer over?
No, but apparently it still counts is what somebody told me.
Okay.
So, but USF took some of those classes, filled that into the gaps. I didn't need a minor at USF, so they took some of those classes, plugged it into the major.
Sure.
And I started classes 2 weeks later.
Okay.
And then, finished. I was doing 2 summer classes, working here full time.
Yep.
And then worked like 30 hours a week while going overloading classes senior year. And like there was no other option but to pass.
And at that point in time, Jenson, I don't want to say was just, but he didn't really have like a full-on position with us for the future because we didn't really even know what the future held.
Yep.
This was before COVID. And at that point, his title would have been full-time coach. But me as the business owner, watching you figure out, because I think a huge thing when it comes to reaching success, reaching your goals, is having that figure it out mentality. But figuring out how to transfer from where he was going to school in Mitchell here to USF, keep his job at Fit Body, not only keep his job at Fit Body, but continue to show up and do a good job at it while keeping school under a wrap, then helping us get through COVID, which then led to us defining more specific roles and responsibilities, which is now why Jenson and his title is the product and programming specialist. And with his background in strength and conditioning and really understanding more of the science behind the workouts, which we'll actually shoot another episode. We're going to shoot an episode on the science behind Fit Body workouts and really what Jenson and I does with that. But then that led to you graduating USF and then coming back on full 40 hours a week, full time.
Yep. It's just crazy. That whole year, it's like there were so many different things that could have happened to change outcomes. And there was one class that was actually condensed. It was like an hour and a half, 2 times a week for like 8 weeks.
Yeah.
And I was struggling at it. The first test, I had no idea to expect. First semester at USF, actually taken. Oh, and the other thing was like the classes at USF. I learned way more in 1 year than I did in 3 at Wesleyan.
Well, hey.
And I love the relationships, and I have no hard feelings. Like I wouldn't be the person I am without Wesleyan, but man,
USF was definitely what pushed you.
Better.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously, a lot of people watching this go through life, and they have just a lot of things out of their control happen, which it definitely sounds like you did with this, and kind of putting Jenson on the spot here. But when life throws you all these different struggles, like what would you recommend to focus on, or what did you focus on? Like how did you even, like where did you put your focus?
Relating it honestly to that class is like you have to dumb things down, and I see it even now that I have a 7-month-old kid. Like, think back to when you were elementary school. Like, how'd you learn?
Yeah.
Flashcards.
Yeah.
So I was putting the origin and insertion on one side and the definition on the other. And like, I would get off work here at like 8 o'clock and I would go home for an hour and go through these flashcards. And then that's what pushed me through the top. But like, anytime you're struggling, like, the things you're focusing on aren't always what you need to.
Yeah.
Like, so a lot of the times when people are struggling, they have the right maybe intentions, but their focus is in the wrong spot.
Sure. And so then if they have the right intentions, but they're focusing on the wrong thing, they take the wrong action.
Yeah. And then you get the wrong outcome. And a lot of things, like the last mastermind in Cancun was like working it from reverse. And like, so switching your mindset of like starting off with like, what outcome do you want? And then take those steps in reverse order on how to get there.
Did you at some point in all this different stuff that was happening, did you at some point like decide like, I want to make a career out of Fit Body, and then figure out kind of what steps you had to take to make it a career? Or did that kind of just fall into place for you?
I wanted to make it a career, I'd say, right when we first met.
Sure.
I was fired up about it.
Yeah.
And it kind of took off, and I think everything fell into place from there. Just slowly like taking over retail from your mom, and like being in the strength and conditioning field and like knowing about supplements and wanting to know more. I think that's when it all fell into place. Because at one point you were talking to me about being head coach. Shout out to Coach Vicky, because I do not want your job.
Right.
I'm so glad it didn't go that route. I don't know if I'd be here. That's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just different, right?
Yeah.
And so that's also another thing about making sure that you are doing what's in your zone of genius. And I think so many people, they end up just doing whatever and not focusing on what they're super good at, which then doesn't lead them to the right outcome.
Yeah, I wish I would have saved it. I'd pull it up now, but I just saw an Instagram post like going through the stages of life. Yeah. Like basically in the rat race, as we would call it. Yeah. But in your early teens to 20s, you're going to school, you're partying, you're doing this and that, and then 20 to 30, you're getting a job you don't like, 9 to 5 just to pay the bills. 30s, you're figuring it out. Yeah. Figuring out how to pay for a mortgage, kids, and then 40s, you maybe get that little bump in raise, but you still hate your job, and it's just, you don't want to go down that road.
Yeah. There's other options.
Yeah,
right?
And I see a lot of people too that, you gotta have a job to pay your bills, but like, what are you doing outside of work that like fill up your cup? Yep. And that you enjoy? And like, for me lately, it's been cooking food. Yeah.
Yeah. So Jenson just got married. How long ago? What's it been? I mean, this is releasing on the 7th, but we're shooting it right now on like the beginning of November.
What are the odds I just get a message from my wife too?
So where are you at?
It's not been quite a month. It's been a few weeks.
Yeah. But we knew Jenson was talking to me a couple months before he got married. And he was playing a little bit of the brother envy. So real quick, Jenson, what is your family like? You got like, give them a breakdown. You got mom, dad, brothers, sisters. What is your breakdown?
Mom, dad, older brother, 6 years and 1 day apart, sister 2 years apart, and then me, the youngest. And I've got a 7-month-old kid, a dog.
And they're freshly married.
Yeah. So there's like maybe less than a handful of cousins, aunts, uncles that their name doesn't start with J. It's all J's on both sides.
All J's. And I just had this thought pop into my head. We ran a big birthday special. I just turned 34. And we ran a big birthday special. This is like the first time in history every single one of your family is right now a member at Fit Body.
Yeah, we finally... My mom didn't really give my dad the option.
No, and I asked her this morning. I said, "Hey, has Jeff been in yet?" And I think I didn't even quite hear her because like we talked, but I think her answer was not yet. Granted, like it was just a Monday, and now it's Thursday that we're shooting this.
Yeah, and he was sick over the weekend. Yeah. We got back from Brookings. They went straight to the doctor. But he's working construction now. He was driving Lyft for a long time, which Fit Body Forever would have been perfect for him. Yeah. But now he doesn't want to stop his day and come work out and then get back into it, which I've worked construction, so I understand that. But yeah, my brother's in it. My sister's been doing it she's got to be coming up on 4 or 5 years.
And then your mom.
My mom just hit 7.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, it's wild, like that connection. And it's so funny because your mom and my aunt and uncle were super good friends.
Yep.
That's why you and Joey were good friends. And we have a family cabin that my grandma owns. She's gracious enough to let all of us go to it. And years ago, actually, like right when I was like 21, your mom was up at the cabin with my uncle and just had a blast with your mom. And we actually still joke, your mom and I, when I see her in the gym, still joke about some of the times that we had at the cabin. And it's super wild how our lives have like mixed and intertwined for the last literally, well, like you said, you're 23. 23?
Almost 2 decades.
Are you 23 right now?
Yeah,
25.
25.
25, yeah.
For sure, a decade, over a decade.
Which is just wild. And now Jenson, product programming specialist. We're going to shoot another episode really diving into that. But the biggest thing is that we're all going to have different things that pop up in life that throw us for a curveball. And like Jenson said, he said that the intention that you have could be one thing, but just because you have good intention, if you're not taking the right action, then you're not going to get the right outcome. And so we could keep talking literally forever.
This could be hours.
You could have a 3, 4, 5 hour little show here, but I just wanted to introduce you to Jenson because so many people don't even know that backstory of how you and I literally knew each other growing up, which has led to this. And the cool thing is, which we want to leave you guys with, I'll leave you with 2 things. I'm going to leave you with one. While I'm leaving him with one, Jenson, I want you to think of like just a good fitness tip that you can leave him with. So you think of that while I leave him with this. And what I want to leave you guys with is our plans is next year to be opening up our East Side location. So I have already purchased the territory rights from FitBody, our corporate office, on the east side of town. Now it just comes down to planning, development, and making sure that we have the right staffing and structure to support another gym here in town. But Jenson will be running that location. And so what's wild is that when he was 11, that's when I originally kind of met him and started connecting with him. And here, over 11 and then 21, over 15 years almost later, here he now is, and he's going to be running a location and truly making a career. And then from that point, have the opportunity to really make an impact for his family through impacting our community, which is going to provide a better income for him and his family. And it all started because of a connection and a relationship. So foster the connections and the relationships that you have. But on that note, get excited for the East Side. And then hopefully, Jenson, you came up with some type of a fitness tip or something that you would want to share with them, with the health and fitness community of Sioux Falls, that they can kind of take away from this episode.
There's a lot, but East Side, get ready. I'm born and raised. We're going to be the fittest side.
Oh, man, the fittest side.
Yes, sir. Everybody hears that you need to drink water. I would say protein. Make sure you're getting protein, whether it's a shake, whether it's a steak.
Ooh, a shake or a steak. Let's go. Just came up with that on the fly.
Yeah. Pretty good for a white guy.
Oh, man, he's going. That's the thing. You are the protein man with the powder.
Oh, yeah. You can make anything healthy. Just put protein on it.
That's another backstory.
Yeah. We'll get into that next time.
Man, we're going to leave him hanging on that note. We'll leave him hanging on that note.
Get your protein in.
Get your protein in.
Each which way.
On average, if you had to just kind of generalize it, what should, for like a gram-wise, should people be shooting for? Any recommendations?
I would say for general, 100 grams of protein minimum a person.
Yep.
Obviously, it depends on size, height, everything. But if you're not getting over 100 grams a day,
start there.
Yeah, you're not setting yourself up for success.
Yeah. So start looking at your protein, looking at what you're eating. That was Jenson's tip of the day, whether it's a shake or a steak. Get that protein in. I love it. But absolutely, guys, again, this wasn't a super value-driven episode, but more so, I wanted to just make sure that you guys got a backstory from, how Jenson came to where he came to on this team, that we obviously at FitBody, and we plan to bring the next episode will be much more value-driven on what we're going to dive into the next time is we're going to dive into why the programming is programmed the way it is at FitBody and kind of what the role that Jenson plays with that. But then we'll also dive into like how you, whether it's at FitBody or on your own, could maybe structure a program for yourself. So that's what we'll dive into the next time that you see Jenson and I on here together. But that's what we got for you guys today. Get your protein in. Jenson, give him a farewell, and we will see him next time.
You ready?
Peace out, you guys. We'll catch you on the next episode of the Fit and Healthy Sioux Falls Show. Bye, friends. Peace.